Hello all, welcome to Kalam IAS Academy. This is Priyanka Mahapatra, faculty at Kalam IAS for essay. So today we'll be having a detailed analysis of the UPSC essay paper 2022. That is the fifth topic of the paper. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. Before actually writing the main content of the essay, you have to do certain exercises. So what are those exercises? First is that you have to spend some 5 minutes of your time in choosing the topic after getting the question paper, right? So for coming to the conclusion that this topic is my topic of the day, you have to judge it by some parameters. So what are those parameters? First is that whether you're able to generate the enough dimensions, the macro dimensions to the topic or not, those 4 5 important questions to the topic or not, whether you're able to generate enough micro arguments to the topic or not, whether you're able to generate enough arguments and examples for those arguments or not, whether you're able to generate the counter argument of the essay or not. Okay, so that's how you come to the conclusion, okay, yes, I'm able to generate enough content for this essay. I'm able to generate enough arguments for this essay. Examples are ready. Then that becomes your topic of the day. Okay, then you brainstorm. Then starts the brainstorming session. So what do you do in the brainstorming session? You go to the rough page of the UPSC answer sheet and then you just write down whatever is coming to your mind after seeing the topic. Okay, whether it is relevant, irrelevant, structured, unstructured, whatever is coming to your mind, you have to just jot it down in the rough page. Then what do? You filter it out. Okay, you filter it out in the sense that you have to throw away, you have to cross it off the irrelevant ideas and you have to keep the relevant ideas. Because the UPSC directive says that whatever points you are making in the essay, it has to be very much closely related to the topic. The expression has to effective and exact, has to be effective and exact. Okay, so there where is the checkpoint where you need to check, you need to make sure that each and every point which you are making is very much in line of the essay topic, very much going well with the essay topic, very much closely related to the topic, right? And in the brainstorming session, you do certain things also. That is, you define the introduction. So see, how much you will define, the extent you define everything in the brainstorming session, the more easy it will become while writing the essay. Once the complete framework is ready, then you have to just expand those ideas while writing those 10-11 pages. There is less confusion and there is clarity of thought because everything is decided. Which example will go first, with which example will go last, which example will go where, with what argument, right? In this way, you are defining everything. In fact, you are defining the introduction as well. Okay, which anecdote will be written in the introduction, which quotation will be written in the introduction, if at all you are comfortable with, and how you would conclude the essay. That also you have to define in the brainstorming session. How you will connect back to the introduction. Everything has to be defined. The more you define, the more easier it will be for you. Right. Then coming to this topic, you have to create some 5 6 dimensions to this topic. So first of all, like, you can pause down this video and create your own dimensions based on your interpretation of the essay. Once you're done with it, then you can check the above dimensions, the dimensions which are displayed on your screen. See, I'm not telling that these dimensions are the final ones. You can have your own dimensions. If at all you're finding any new dimension, you can just write it down in the comment box. I'll be checking them. Okay, I'll be happy to check them, in fact. Okay, so coming to the dimensions here, you have to first interpret the topic. You have to first understand the topic. So from the topic, what do you understand? It is about the taking the timely action. It is about taking the timely action. Okay, the importance of taking timely action. Okay, so you have to revolve all your dimensions around it, about the importance of timely action, right? So first is that why it is important to take timely action. That is why it is so prudent, so important to repair the roof while sun is shining. Then again, the execution part, how one is to be prepared in advance while the sun is shining. Then what are the merits, what are the advantages of being proactive, of being preemptively prepared while the sun is shining. Then the opposite view, that if we are not taking steps, then what will happen? What are the grave consequences of not taking the timely action? What happens if steps are not taken in time? The opportunity cost. So look how you are able to generate the dimensions to a topic. Here you can look at it. Okay, the main gist of the topic is the importance of taking timely action. So why aspect you are covering, how aspect you are covering, then what are the merits to it, and what will happen if, what are the consequences, what will happen if we are not taking timely action. Then comes the counter argument of the essay. That is it expedient approach to repair the roof when the sun is shining? Is it always a good approach to repair the roof when the sun is shining? That means, is it a good way always to have a prepared mind? Okay, we'll look into the counter argument of the essay as well. Then comes the way forward, that how to be adequately proactive rather than being reactive. Okay, so way forward of the essay is the last part of the body. It is not to be confused with the conclusion. Conclusion is separate. It is a futuristic view where you would be connecting back to the introduction and give a balanced view. All sorts of elements of conclusion has to be there, right? So let's get started. So here are some relevant quotations which you can quote in your essay. That is by Benjamin Franklin. By failing to prepare, we prepare to fail. By Mahatma Gandhi, the future depends on what we do in the present. Then sweat more in peace to bleed less in war. So these are one of the popular quotations you should be using to the essay. Then comes the introduction, that is the first part of the essay. So what do you do in introduction? So you know that there are various ways of introducing the topic. You may use an anecdote as it is done here, or use a quotation. Okay, you can use either of these. Okay, then here two things are very important to note. First is that whatever anecdote or quotation you are making, that should exactly justify the wholesome meaning of the essay. Okay, so if at all you're going with the partial meaning of the essay, then the examiner will think that you have wrongly interpreted the essay. You have not understood the whole meaning of the essay. So you can be given negative marks as well. It will not be a good impression. Second is that your introduction should be very interesting and impactful, because this is the first page of the essay and this is the first impression you are giving to the examiner to read the rest of your essay. So it's very important that the anecdote or quotation or whatever way you are introducing the essay, it is very interesting to read. Okay? So here I have taken the anecdote of three sons who are farmers, and there is the time for rice harvest. The rice harvest is very much nearing. So here what has happened, the farmer, the main farmer, the father farmer, he has decided to distribute his vast farm among his three sons, providing them with equal opportunities and responsibilities. And as the harvest time is approaching, the two of the sons who are very hardworking, they are diligently working on the fields, ensuring that they would be rewarded with a bountiful harvest. But the third son is known for his laziness and procrastination. So rather than taking care of his own piece of family's legacy, he is often he often delegates his task to others, finds excuses to avoid the hard work. And as the harvest season is approaching, then the two diligent sons were all prepared, okay, to have a plentiful rice harvest with all kinds of techniques, all kinds of pesticides, insecticides being sprayed on the fields to counter any untoward incident. But the lazy son had not yet tended to his land occupied with various diversions. Okay, he was very occupied in other things rather than taking care of the land. So once he realized that time was running out and fearing of the consequences of his negligence, he decided to visit the field in the last minute. But what happened there? He saw that a flocks of hungry birds, they have descended upon the field and eaten the grains. Okay, they have devoured all the grains, leaving behind nothing but empty stalks of the grains. So he got a bitter lesson over there. Okay, so this story is emphasizing on the importance of timely action and responsible stewardship, the values, the proactivity, the value of time, responsibility. Okay, so you can use a quotation also. Ab pashtai hot kya jab chidiya chug gayi khet. That means why regret now when the birds have already feasted on the field? Resonated with him, the third son, more than ever. Okay, so that's how you can make an anecdote which shows that the importance of taking timely action, how it has impacted the two sons who have worked very hard for the plentiful harvest, and how it has impacted the third son who was lazy and he got the punishment. Okay, so both the ways you have to justify. Then only the wholesome meaning of the essay is reflected. Okay? Then you come to the first dimension of the essay, that is why it is important to take timely measures and why it is prudent to repair the roof while sun is shining. So here you can take help of numerous examples. Okay, so you can take help of political example, economic example, environmental example, okay, economic example, disaster management example. Okay, so many examples you can quote it here in order to show your essay very diverse. It's very, very important that your essay should be looking diverse. So how to do that? You can quote numerous examples from different spheres. For example, in the case of healthcare, you can quote a saying over here, a stitch in time saves nine, which itself says the importance of the timely action. So here you can say about the vaccination to children and how it is important from the early age to get vaccinated in order to fight diseases later in life. Again, we did the vaccination for the COVID. Why did we do it? Because COVID was over, the second wave was over, but still, why was the population more interested in vaccination? Because to shield the population from the future waves. Again, you can talk of Kerala's primary healthcare infrastructure, how it helped during the COVID tracing and treating. Okay. Then you can talk of digital economy, how the Jam Trinity helped in less disrupted disbursement of the welfare schemes in the COVID times. How the payment apps they helped us with the no contact payment for services. Very, very good example. Then we can talk of disaster management. This topic, in fact, is very much relevant in the disaster management and the importance of taking the proactive measures in order to prevent the damage. So you can talk of Odisha model of fighting cyclones, how it learned the lesson in 1999, and henceforth we are seeing that how it is the role model for other states and other nations as well in fighting the cyclones. We can talk of Japan's tsunami safeguards. We can talk of evacuation plans for disasters. The proactive evacuation plans for disasters can help in saving lives during big disasters. Then we can talk of energy conservation plans. We can talk of India's climate change commitments towards solar, wind, nuclear before any catastrophe happens due to climate change. Here we can talk of the importance of cushioning through afforestation during the floods, forest conservation. Here also you can take help of your personal example, how saving and investing money in the good times will help you in the unseen circumstances and in the emergency situation. Okay, then you can talk of a safety measure also, how installing CCTVs in your homes, it will ensure safety. Okay, then you can talk of your exam preparation as well, how planning well ahead and meeting targets in bits for a larger goal of covering the huge syllabus can help you, rather than going crazy trying to get everything done in the last minute before the deadline. You can talk of your own UPSC preparation. So you're having a big syllabus, a bigger goal, a larger goal, and how you can plan well ahead, how you can make daily targets, small targets in bits in order to achieve the larger goal of covering a humongous syllabus rather than going crazy. You all know the consequences of going crazy at the last moment in the UPSC. So this also you can quote. Again, in the security infrastructure, you can talk of internal security over here from paper 3. So you can talk of the technology upgradation that should be happening. Okay, the cyber security infrastructure, the importance of cyber security infrastructure, the importance of taking proactive measures in fighting terrorism, importance of preventing the cross-border attacks, okay, by technology upgradation. So these things you can write. So for space also you can write that how we got prepared for the Mangalyaan in the lowest cost possible. That was only because of the cryo technology that we installed in the Vikas engine in the 1980s. Okay, so because of this preparedness of cryo technology, we could easily build Mangalyaan in the lowest cost possible. So this was all because of the preparedness. Okay? Let's now understand the merits of taking the proactive measures, taking the timely action, taking the timely action in good times when the sun is shining. First is that the stress is reduced. You can give example. See, this is the argument of the essay and this is the example of the essay. Please be very, very clear. So whenever you're writing any point under the main dimension, this is the main dimension of the essay, you're making points, you're making your argument. Please note that it goes by the pattern that first you have to make your argument, build the context, and then give an example in order to substantiate the argument. Very, very important thing to note. Okay, so with arguments, you are actually making some analysis, and after analysis, only the examples are made. Right? So here you can give the example of US Airways flight 1549, sorry, how it experienced the engine failure shortly after takeoff. But in this situation, the captain and the first officer were very cool. Okay, they were stress free because of their extensive training and preparation for the emergency landings. And that allowed them to safely land the plane in the Hudson River, saving 155 lives. Then you can talk of improved decision making, how the decision making can be improved when you have all the facts, all the reports in your hand. Okay, and all the consequence reports in your hand. Then it can also lead to time savings. Time savings as in you will not go for the last minute rush. You will not go panic. As the popular saying goes that never let important turn into urgent. Very, very important. Then you come to the greater control. You have greater control upon the situation when you take the proactive measures. For example, when an oxygen tank exploded on board Apollo 13, the NASA team on Earth had already prepared for various contingencies. So their meticulous planning and simulation training enabled them to troubleshoot problems and adapt to the unexpected challenges during the mission. Very, very important. Again, you can talk of opportunity seizer. When you are prepared from before, then you can actually grab the opportunity. You can actually seize the opportunity whenever any new thing is coming in front of you. Okay, because you're fully prepared for any transition. You're fully aware of the situation. For example, Netflix. It originally was a DVD rental service, but when it saw that the time is ripe now to enter into the streaming technology because of the digital accessibility to the people, then it shifted. It shifted towards digital streaming, seeing it as an opportunity, and now we see the success. Okay, so you can give such examples in order to justify your argument. Then we come to the next dimension, that is, what are the grave consequences of inaction? So what happens if the steps are not taken in time? So you can talk of the 2008 financial crisis and how it happened because of the delayed responses of the regulatory authorities and financial institutions. Okay, and how it led to the biggest economic downturn, job losses, home foreclosures. You can talk of public health crisis as well. Here also you should be bringing in examples from diverse peers. Okay, you can talk of finance in one example, you can talk of health in another example, you can talk of infrastructure in another example. So that's how your essay will be more diverse. And how can you make the essay multidimensional? By bringing these dimensions, bringing many like 4 or 5 dimensions to the essay, right? Hope you're clear that how you're able to make your essay diverse and multidimensional. Then about the public health crisis, you can quote about the Bhopal gas tragedy that happened in December 1984 in Bhopal, and that happened majorly due to the inadequate safety measures, maintenance issues, and negligence. Then also you can talk of the recent Morbi Bridge incident in Gujarat. Okay, so that happened due to the infrastructure failure, due to the lack of maintenance and repairs, and that caused multiple deaths, multiple fatalities. You can talk of the climate change, very, very good example, very, very relevant example. Okay, that if you're not taking timely action, then catastrophe is bound to come. Then you can talk of pandemic response, how we had neglected, ignored the healthcare infrastructure in our country, and that resulted in so many deaths. In fact, India was inequipped. It was not so equipped to handle a biological disaster like COVID. Okay, that's how you can give your examples. Then you come to the counter argument of the essay, that is it always a good approach to repair the roof when sun is shining? So here you can say about the resource allocation thing, that while being proactive, it requires a basic, uh, defined allocation of resources, whether it is time, money, effort, or anything. And this allocation to certain things will divert resources from addressing the immediate needs or opportunities. Okay, understood? Then we can talk of complacency or diminished resilience. So here what will happen, that if you are very much prepared, then you will be complacent. You will be chill. Okay, that everything is okay. Everything is in my control. And you will be too late to adapt to any unforeseen challenges, unforeseen circumstances. So this is another point to be made in the counter argument. Then comes the way forward, that how to be adequately proactive rather than being reactive. So here you can actually add a administrative point of view. Whenever there is any chance, you should be adding the administrative point of view, because you are writing for an administrative service exam. So as an administrator, what proactive measures you can take, that for example, you can take about maintaining records and accounts, you can train the personnel, you can have enough capacity building measures in order to cope with any unseen circumstances. You can ensure the completion of tasks at the right time, minimizing dependency. You can ensure disaster preparedness. You can ensure the safety measures for the road, sanitation, water, quality of education in schools, quality in hospitals. Okay, so these examples, points you can make as an administrator. Then coming to the individual level, you can talk of the self-introspection and attitudinal change. Learning from one's own mistakes and learning from others' mistakes. There are two things. Okay, so you can give example of Chandrayaan-2, how it failed, and because of the ISRO's persistent efforts, we made successful in the Chandrayaan-3 mission, becoming the first nation to land near the moon's south pole and the fourth country to accomplish a soft landing on the moon, because of the persistent efforts, because of learning from one's own mistakes. ठीक है? This is one example. Then how learning from others' mistakes will help. For example, the Constitution of India, how it has learnt the experiences drawn from the Constitution of USA, France, Australia, Germany, and how we made a compendium of homegrown ideals, taking the learnings from the others' mistakes of other nations. And it's been now 73 years that it has stood the test of time. Okay, so that's how you should be bringing in many examples. Then you can talk of institutional level. See, here in the way ahead, it's very, very important to structure your way ahead points. You can go with the individual level, family level, society level, institutional level, okay, national level. That way you can structure your way ahead points instead of writing here and there. Okay, so you can talk of internal risk management as a proactive measure. Okay, then at the national level, you can talk of participative democracy and how you should be taking care of the demand-driven reforms, how you should be taking care of the societal demands, societal needs proactively in order to avoid any unforeseen circumstance, catastrophe. Okay, and with respect to preparation, you can talk of the inclusive growth, you can talk of creating jobs, enhancing health education opportunities, skilling people, capacity building, technology upgradation, cooperation between the actors of the society, the civil society, the citizens, okay, the community, the governments, okay, multi-stakeholder approach. Okay, so these things are also needed for the proactive measures in order to fight any untoward incident, in order to have the timely action. Then comes the conclusion of the essay, that is the last part of the essay. Wayhead is the last part of the body. In conclusion, you have to take care of certain elements. Okay, first is that you should be connecting back to the introduction, connecting back to the anecdote which you made. For example, here you can write that as an individual, you should be following the two sons who were hardworking, okay, and not the lazy son who ultimately realized the consequence of not taking the timely action. Okay, you can also write a quotation by Norman Schwarzkopf, who said, "The more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war," which actually encapsulates the meaning of the essay topic. Then you can write about the essence, about the futuristic view, okay, how it is important to take the timely action and that can transform any adversity into opportunity, ensuring that the sun's rays illuminate not just today, but the promising horizons of tomorrow. You can talk of the capacity to learn, adapt, grow, and be resilient, the power of human agency, and the capacity to learn continuously, right? So, this was all about the topics discussion. And if you have other points to make, you can write it down in the comment section. I'll read it out and respond it to you people. Okay, so till then, goodbye, take care, and thank you so much.